Well, against all odds, we made it for another edition of LaLiga Centro. I had to come running from Manchester, where Rodri used to live, all the way down to London. Just made it. I'm a little bit late, but whatever. Jamaicans are always late.
You're never late.
I'm never late, guys. I'm actually never on time. I never try to be on time anyway.
But you have a reward. You have a reward, Alexis, and I'm going to show you. Yes, you get a reward because you get a present. This is my present for you.
Oh, wow.
A Sporting de Gijón jersey. Yeah, it's the best team in the world. I'm sorry if you are a Real Madrid, Barça, Chelsea, Man City fan, whatever club, but the best club in the world is Sporting de Gijón, and this is my present for you, okay?
I don't believe you're going to give me that. Guys, when I go to Spain, we're going to check if Rodri actually gives me that one, because that is his, like, holy grail. That's his hometown team. He loves it.
Well, in fact, I bought it for Rob Moore, but I think
that's our producer. Shame. It's all right. You've already given me a great Atletico de Madrid shirt, which I absolutely love. And speaking of Atletico de Madrid, oh my days, what a feisty derby. The Derby Madrileño. We're going to talk about that later on. There's too much to unpack there. Some really good things and then some really nasty things that we're going to talk about later. But first and foremost as well, we'll speak about Barcelona, who just continue being this fabulous Barcelona. Bring on El Clásico. You know, we're less than a month away from it now. We cannot wait for that. But first, we're also about exactly 2 months away around there for the FIFA World Cup. It's the international break, so everybody knows that. Some people used to hate it, but hopefully everybody loves it more now because it has more meaning. We're 2 months away from the World Cup. Rodri was even in Doha, in Qatar. I went earlier this year for the FIFA draw, Rodri. But what's it like now? Because I remember being in Doha for the draw, looking around and thinking it will be an absolute miracle if they get everything ready in time for November. But now you see, thoughts, tell us everything.
Yeah, they'll be in time for sure, because we were at the first ever game at the stadium who's going to host the final, Lisail Stadium, which is something really huge, and it's brand new. And I mean, it was working perfectly. I remember the difference in between the temperature from the exterior to the very inside of the stadium. It was about, I mean, when we were outside, we were around 52 degrees Celsius, which is something impossible for my body. And when we got inside, we were about 20 degrees Celsius. It was amazing. And, you know, the organization, it was great. So they're going to be on time. And I remember that they told us, the people from the committee, Supreme Committee, they told us that all the apartments for the fans will be ready 1 month before the World Cup kickoff. So, you know, I mean, I don't know if you have the same views, but for me, it looked like this is the desert, and they built everything from the nothing.
From nothing.
Amazing.
I remember seeing that too when I landed in Doha earlier on this year. I just thought, I mean, this is going to be an amazing city. I would say give it another 5 years, maybe 10, and that will be the new Dubai. People will be rushing to go there instead of just Dubai. It is just unreal. And one of the beauties of it, though, is that it's such a small city. You know, everything is, I mean, especially for me who lives in London, where, you know, you drive an hour north, south, east, west, and you're still in London. At least in Doha, you know, it was like 50 minutes, you're somewhere at a new stadium, and then 10 minutes, you're at one of the other stadiums, and everything's just in one area. But it's going to be interesting, though. What did you make of the transport, if you got to feel that? Because I think that's what a lot of people have been worried about, because yes, it's a small city and it's easy to get around, but when you're welcoming the world and their fans, buses will be full, taxis will be full, metros probably will be full. It sounds like it could be a disaster. What did you think?
Well, it may look like it could be a disaster, but I think the organization, I mean, they have all the details completely done. So, you know, for me, underground is going to be free. They're going to have tons of trains all around the city and the stadiums, and there are going to be even more taxis that there are, in fact, you know, nowadays. I mean, for me, there won't be any problem. The only problem for me is that if you're going to stay for 1 month long there, I don't know if you're going to get bored, because at the end, it's just one city. It's not about, for example, Russia or Brazil, that you have so many places around. But this is only one city with 80 stadiums around the city. And I don't know if you're going to get bored, because you don't have much to do in Doha. That's my only doubt, you know.
Yeah.
apart from so many issues, but it's like,
But let's be honest, you're not gonna make it bored because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to tell you, but that's the key point of all, like stay with you the whole I don't know if I'm
if
gonna
anyone gets bored, they can come and hang out with us because
yeah,
I am many things, but one thing I am not is boring, except for on Sundays when I actually do want to nap and I can't.
I don't want you to be my neighbor.
I know. You have no choice. I'm gonna find you. We're like in the same compound anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the winning apartment with Edu and with Pablo, I think.
Neighbor. I am a great neighbor, but we're gonna be like absolutely riddled with work. It's gonna be my first World Cup that I'm actually gonna cover.
Oh, really?
On the ground for ESPN. Yeah, last couple ones I've done in studio, but I will be on location with Team ESPN. There's gonna be a bunch of us, so absolutely cannot wait for it. The countdown is officially on. Drum roll. Yeah, anyways, let's talk about La Liga then. Like I said, it's international break. So of course, all the teams go back to their countries, their nations, and prepare to put their final preparations before the World Cup. But it also gives us a time to reflect because it's been a very wild weekend in La Liga. Again, unfortunately, I wasn't there this weekend. Can't be there every weekend, guys, mileage. But I'm kind of upset because
you were missed this weekend at the Madrid Derby. Everyone was like,
I was or I wasn't.
Where Alexis? No, you were indeed. Man. At the end, the deep of my heart, I love you. So this is all about it. And all the people at the Metropolitano were asking about you. Where's Alexis? Why is she not here? Yeah. Mario Hermoso was like, if she's not here, I'm not gonna complete the game. So show me a red card. Yeah.
He got a red card, such an unnecessary red card, Mario Hermoso. Come on, after you scored probably the most awkward goal I have ever seen in my life, but we will get to that. So much to unpack from that one. But again, we're going to talk about how Madrid just keep on winning, but so do Barcelona. Let's talk about that. What a big game. I know on paper it was a match that we expected Barcelona to win, but now it's no longer just Barcelona are winning, but it's how they're winning. Very, very convincingly, aren't they, Rodri? That's making us think that this Clásico, could be probably one of the best that we've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, and the one that wins the Clásico are going to be the main contender and the main favorite to win the title at the end of the season. For me now, there's only Real Madrid-Barcelona debate right after what happened last night in Metropolitano against Atletico Madrid, because now Atletico Madrid is 8 points behind Real Madrid. So this is a huge distance, knowing that we are in the beginning of La Liga. I mean, when you see Barcelona, for me, the good point, that I take out of this La Liga beginning for them is that they enjoy again the football. I mean, when we were watching Barcelona last season, it was like a pain. Every single weekend, it was like, here we go again. Come on. Okay, let's finish this.
They look like they didn't have a plan.
Sure. And now they have a plan. Now they have players. Now they have a squad. Now they have signings that we didn't expect by the end of May. And we were like, oh, are they going to sign anyone? And then you got Lewandowski, you got Rafinha, then you got Dembele, Renew. I mean, they have a great squad. They have so many combinations to take for Xavi every weekend. And they enjoy playing football again, which is the key thing for me in Barca's DNA.
One of the things that I enjoyed seeing in this one as well is the fact that, yes, we know there's certain things in life that are coming, and that's death, taxes, and goals from Robert Lewandowski. I said that when he was at Bayern, and we see it now at Barcelona. But one goal that maybe people didn't expect was from Memphis Depay. It's almost like he's been an afterthought, and now he just came back and was like, hey, remember me? I'm still here. There were so many links, of him either going to Italy this summer as well, and whether he would have a future still at Barcelona, because even before all the other signings that they made this summer, things were very hot and cold for him. Yes, he was given chances, but he probably wasn't impressing or straight up scoring as many goals as he should have. Now he's scored. We know how much confidence goes a long way, especially for footballers when they're in these ruts and how to get out of them. This goal, though, from Memphis, could it be like the phoenix coming out of his ashes? Do you see Memphis in Xavi's plans for the long term in Barcelona, or do you think when it comes to January transfer window again, his name's going to be linked with moves all over the place.
For me, he's going to stay the whole season long. For me, I don't see Xavi getting rid of him in the winter transfer window. For me, this is something that, you know, it's not going to happen. Anyway, I do respect Memphis Depay, but I remember the hype last season at the beginning of La Liga. You know, all the people in Barca were like comparing Memphis Depay to Eto'o, Memphis Depay comparing him to even to Messi, the one that's gonna make people forget about Leo Messi. And for me, he's a nice substitute. That's all. I mean, I don't see him as a starter in this Barca, because they have Dembele, they have Rafinha, they have Ansu Fati. I mean, they have so many good combinations with Lewandowski that I don't see him at that level to be good enough as a starter in Barca. So, I mean, I respect him, and I think he could be very useful for Xavi, but, you know, a starter?
Yeah. I think the way Barcelona are going right now, I think unless Memphis gets used to probably coming off the bench, he's still such a nice player, though, when he's on his day. I really do love him, but I guess we'll see how it goes. You mentioned a name right there, though, that I do want to stick a pin in, just because it is International Week, and that's Ansu Fati. Everyone's making a big deal of how he was not called up to Spain. What's going on there? Because this is Ansu Fati we're talking about. I mean, you know how much I love him. I know how much you love him. Like, he is the future, isn't he?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Do you know that his family was so confident on Luis Enrique that they actually had booked the travel and the tickets for the trip to see Ansu Fati with the Spain national team? Do you know that? Yeah, and they have to pay now for that, and Ansu Fati is not going to play with Spain. I mean, we all are surprised, because the common sense in Spain said to you that Luis Enrique was gonna call him up for the national team, but finally Luis Enrique did. And I don't know why, because when you listen to the explanation that Luis Enrique gave us in the press conference, he was like, he's not gonna play. He's not playing in Barca. He's not even a starter. So why am I gonna call him up? And you know, this is strange for Luis Enrique, because he's taking Jordi Alba, who's not playing for Barca. So it's like something strange in between them.
Do you think, I guess, obviously with Jordi Alba comes a wealth of experience. And, you know, one of the things that when you talk about this current Spain squad that everyone likes is the fact that there's so many youngsters in there. And then maybe Luis Enrique wants to mix in, you know, the experience here and there. But Ansu Fati, I mean,
but when you talk about experience, why don't you call my grandmother, for example? She has more experience than anyone. Come on, this is not about getting people just for the experience. You need something else to play for Spain or whoever national team we could speak about. So,
Ansu Fati, that's one I can't wrap my head around. I think I think anyone else in the world would definitely happily take them in the squad. Of course, I guess it's a good problem for Spain to have, the fact that, you know, you don't need an Ansu Fati, but I guess time will tell.
Anyway, Borja Iglesias is in the national team.
Squad. This is Rodri's BFF for life, in case anybody was wondering. We have to mention him at least once in every episode of LaLiga Centro. Someone else that we're always going to mention once. Well, we said Iñaki Williams last time got called up for Ghana, so he's going to be hopefully making his debut this week. That would be excellent. And then his brother, Nico Williams, gets called up to Spain. That is absolutely brilliant. It would be brilliant to see Ghana play against Spain, because I don't think, apart from Kevin Prince Boateng and Jerome Boateng, obviously Kevin Prince chose to play for Ghana and Jerome for Germany, where they're from. I don't think we've ever seen brothers go head to head like that, have we? So what's been the reaction there in Spain like? Because we know, obviously, when we talk about the Williams brothers, they are so respected. And we spoke about Iñaki, and you said how you felt about him, but you said Nico is the one that you would put all your eggs in that basket, won't you?
Yeah, all the people that have been very close to both say the same. I mean, all prefer Nico rather than Iñaki. They think that Nico has more future, more present. He's more powerful. He's also
younger.
He's quicker, he's younger indeed, but they see him like, you know, like a proper player, a proper high-level player. Because Iñaki is for me, one of the best Spanish strikers, but it seems like he's stuck in one given moment. So that's why Nico, I mean, he has a brighter future for Atletico de Bilbao and for his own interest. So that's why, you know, I think he's going to be much, much better than his older brother.
And it makes things interesting, I suppose. We can't wait
Sure.
to the day to
They need to play a friendly game in between Spain and Ghana. That'd be
exactly.
great.
That'd be good. I mean, I suppose it would have been funnier if one of them was actually a defender and then one could be tearing down and the other one just takes him out. But, you know, they're both obviously up there as strikers. So that would be.
They were in La Liga back in the 90s. You had FC Barcelona striker called Julio Salinas. And he played so many times against his brother, who was a Celta player, Pachi Salinas. And it was so funny because they fighted each other. You know, in any single game, they were like, no, you, blah, 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 with the slang. You know, it was so funny that it would be great to repeat it with the William brothers.
I know, just have one of them take each other out. Just having Yaki be like, let me just remind you who the big brother is.
I'm going to push you. I'm going to take your PS5.
You. Oh. Love that. Love that.
Tell my mom.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's move on as well. Talk about Villarreal up against Sevilla. This was going to be also a very juicy matchup, interesting matchup. We know how good Villarreal can be on their day. We also know how good Sevilla can be on their day, but we've just not seen Sevilla on their day. And we spoke about the turmoil going on. Their tensions are running high. Everyone's looking. Maybe Julen Lopetegui sleeping with one eye open. I don't know how bothered he is, but it ended in a draw, which is hard to say that this is actually a positive for Sevilla, considering as well it was an away match. That probably tells you just how dire the situation is at Sevilla. But what's been the reaction there? Is it still tensions high with Sevilla? Lopetegui probably, are people going to be protesting and saying Lopetegui out anytime soon?
They need to take Sevilla in the Champions League positions, because if not, Lopetegui is going to be in trouble for the next games. We understand, and I think the Sevilla, they had a little bit of luck, because I didn't trust Sevilla when they were playing against Espanyol and they won, and I didn't trust Sevilla when they play in Villarreal this weekend and they draw finally, because I expected Villarreal to be a little bit better, but you know, they didn't have their day. So that's why I think Sevilla got that point, which is really important, and it's really important, first of all, for the team, and secondly for Julen Lopetegui, because you know, I think any Sevilla supporter thought that he was going to be alive in this international break. And even some rumors from Sevillan media, they pointed out that Sevilla was going to use this international break for the new coach to get adapted, to present it on these things. So that's why I think it's good news for Lopetegui. He's going to have a little bit more time to prepare the squad. And I don't know if to make the squad a little bit better, they have 1 month for the next break, which is going to be the World Cup. I don't know if he's going to resist. That's the main question for me.
Ay, Sevilla. Es por eso que hoy vengo a verte.
You love Sevilla. Yeah, you love Sevilla, but you are in green.
I love Sevilla. I love Andalusia. I love.
You look like a Betis supporter now.
I do look like a Betis supporter. I'm in like green. It kind
and in the background, you have the green lights too.
I always have the green to give it like a greenhouse vibe. You know, I like to make my place like a little bit of a jungle. But yeah, I do have a very, very soft spot in my heart for Sevilla. You know that. I don't like to see them struggle. So hopefully things get sorted out there, because last year I was all aboard that Sevilla train to hopefully see them challenge Real Madrid and Barcelona and it looked like they were doing it, but when they dropped massively. So we'll see what happens. Well, let's talk about the Madrid derby. Dun, 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 el derby madrileño. Oh my days. Scenes. It's a derby, so you expect everything. Tensions run high. You know, it was a very feisty match on the pitch, but of course, unfortunately, there's always bad apples that have to ruin good things. This is why some people can't have good things. Not just in the Madrid derby, but I think in the week leading up to it, of course, there were some comments made in Spanish media by an agent about Vinicius Jr., comparing him to a monkey, so to speak, even though he said he really wasn't comparing him to a monkey. He was just saying, you know how monkeys are playful and act foolish. That to me is an absolute cop-out. Like, you know, the connotations of comparing persons of color to monkeys historically. You really would have had to live under a rock for your entire life to think that would be a good idea. So that's absolute BS. And then unfortunately, again, Atletico Madrid, who you know I love as well so much, the fans were chanting a very, very disgraceful chant outside about Vinny Jr. And his celebrations. And then there were allegedly chants and things that were thrown at Vinny Jr. Once, of course, he scored in the Madrid derby in the match. Now, Rodri, you were there. I was only watching on television, so of course they do try to block you from a lot of the unsavory things that happened. But for you, just what was the experience like, straight from, you know, front to back, with all of these issues, not really what happened on the pitch?
Yeah, it was a shame because when I got to the Metropolitano outskirts, you know, the atmosphere was amazing. And all the people were like, "Oh, well, I hope Atleti to win. I hope Madrid will win the derby." I mean, whatever you talked about the game, they were all focused on the game. But there was a minority that we have in Spain, and they have at Atletico Madrid, you know, that they are racist and they behave, you know, in the worst way possible. And for me, as a Spaniard and as a Spanish reporter as well, it was a shame, and I was ashamed hearing those chants saying that Vinicius, whatever. I mean, these people have to be out of the stadiums. And even I was told some minutes ago by one of my La Liga sources that La Liga itself is looking at filing a complaint regarding the racist chanting against Vinicius and whatever, to try to take these people out of the stadiums and out of the society, because they fail. I mean, and Atletico Madrid has to be in there leading that race to you know, with La Liga. They have to take these people out, because it was a shame all the good atmosphere that all the majority of the people that went to Metropolitano had, you know, it was completely eclipsed by those people, I'm gonna say like this, that, you know, that they fail and they made the game, which it was great, it was a great game, completely disgraceful spectacle.
It was unbelievably, and I mean, it's something that I unfortunately say I'm not surprised about. I'm a little surprised because, thankfully, obviously me living in England, I've seen it happen time and time and time again in English football. It's and there's a protocol here that they do it. Of course, the clubs investigate it as well. If there's enough evidence, they can choose to hand lifetime bans to, you know, these people that whether, you know, they do identify them or not. They do also get the police involved as well, as we have seen, because they can criminally charge these people. What's the protocol in Spain? Because thankfully, at least in so many of the matches that I have been, I've thankfully not seen anything of this level. And this was just unbelievably horrific. I mean, I no longer have the words or the time or the patience to talk about these people, because we have been tired. We've been tired for centuries. We've been tired for 1492. I'm just sick and tired of these people. To say they have no place in football, they just have no place on this world, to be honest. Sure. But what is the protocol in Spain for this now? Or what are you hearing? Is it likely that the police could get involved? Because there were videos outside that can identify a number of these people. Yeah,
they should. I mean, there are tons of videos, you know, on Twitter or Instagram or even TikTok or whatever, and they can identify these people. I remember, you know, one of the videos with a monkey. You know, a guy is holding that monkey toy, and I know that guy. I mean, everyone knows, because he's one of the main characters of Atletico Madrid fan base. So that's why they can go inside with the Policía Nacional, and they have to investigate this. And Atletico Madrid has to put a little bit of effort to try not to get those people in the stands, because Atletico Madrid knows perfectly who they are. And they have to participate with La Liga, because La Liga wants all the clubs to collaborate with them in order to get these people out of the stadium. For example, I'm going to give you a couple of instances, like Joan Laporta and Florentino Perez. Both now they are the presidents of Real Madrid and Barcelona. But back in 2003, Laporta get boisterous noise out of the Camp Nou. And Florentino Perez, I think it was by 2010, around that, he took Ultrasur out of the Santiago Bernabeu. So let's see if finally Atletico Madrid takes these guys from this minority from Frente Atletico out of the Metropolitano, because this is not a good image for Atletico Madrid. I think the club is amazing and the people that work there are top, but these people, maybe 20, 15, maybe a little bit more, I don't know how much they are, but they need to be out of Metropolitano, and they don't need to put some Atletico Madrid jerseys because they are given a bad image of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is something that we talk about. I say I love Atletico Madrid because for obviously those that don't work in the media, they are an absolute joy to work with. They are so accommodating. It's such a nice family atmosphere there. They're just a great club to work with, the people around it. And I think now this is probably one of the most important and defining moments in their history to see how they deal with it, because this is something that cannot be taken lightly. This is something that, honestly, even a lifetime ban to me is like a slap on the wrist, because these people are the lowest of the low. If you can look at somebody's color of skin still today and use that against them, it's, like I said, I have no words. I really don't want to waste any more time on these people because it makes me disgusted to the nth degree. But Atletico Madrid, balls in your court. The world is watching and something needs to be done. Something needs to be done to the highest degree so that those people are not able to put on that shirt to represent your club after what they have been done. Power to Vinny Jr., hopefully, because he's still so young. And it's sad that he's had these 2 incidents in 1 week and has had to, come out and almost defend himself, almost defend his dancing, his celebration of his own culture. Do you know what I mean? It's
and the stupid thing of all, Alexis, is that everyone and these Spanish mass media, they have to be blamed too, because I mean they made so bad job last week debating about Vinicius celebrations and these things, and if you look back to the goal celebrations of Atletico Madrid, you can see Griezmann dancing, and you can see even Mateus Cunha dancing. And all the people in the stadium were like, okay, our players are dancing when they score, so we don't really mind if Vinicius is gonna dance. That's why the majority of the people were like, go Vinicius, dance, feel free to celebrate. I mean, we are nobody to say how the others have to celebrate. So that's why, all the people, but that minority, influenced by some Spanish mass media, they were like, oh my God, no, don't do that again.
Education. I'm telling you, education. And as my father used to say, some people were not brought up, they were dragged up. And that's exactly what these people are. And as we said, Atletico Madrid, over to you. But unfortunately, that did obviously put a really nasty cloud over what was an exciting derby. And I think with all the troubles that we saw Atletico Madrid have on the pitch over the last year, ever since they won the title, actually, it's just been like so many troubles. What we wanted was a competitive derby. And in the end, Real Madrid did exactly what we thought Real Madrid would do. I think that I was a bit let down as to how, yes, Atletico fought back in moments. Yes, we got that consolation goal, if you even want to call it that, from Mario Hermoso, which I don't even think he intended to do, but you know what? It went in and it made things a bit more spicy at the end. But let's be honest, Rodri, Real Madrid bossed that game. They bossed it.
Imagine that we are back in high school, okay? And you try to date a girl and you go to the gym to make some workout. You try to get your haircut or whatever. Yeah. But you have another guy who is taller, stronger, is even more handsome than you, and he gets the girl. That's what happened in between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. Yeah, that was exactly what happened.
They could. So much so that, first of all, we didn't even touch about how Diego Simeone even started Antoine Griezmann. Look away, Barcelona. But I think even Cholo knew this is the time. We talked about how this was going to be Real Madrid's biggest test so far this season. And then, of course, it was going to be Atletico Madrid's. And we will see if the improvements that they've made, because then we're talking about how Griezmann has helped so much as well, how he's come on as such an impact sub, what he's contributed. We could see that, even the squad, even who Cholo was bringing off the benches did have, impacts here and there, depending on the game. We saw how he moved different players around as well. But no matter what he did in this one, no matter where he put people, I was thinking maybe Atletico de Madrid were just going to be really tight at the back and try and get Real Madrid on the counter, which we know that they do have some pacey players. I was interested to see how he was going to use our friend Marcos Llorente, because he's quite quick as well. But Real Madrid even beat them at that. They almost beat them at their own game. Atleti didn't even look as tight or neat at the back as we expected. Jan Oblak came back literally about a week and a half ago. He told me that he still was feeling pain. But you know what? As you said, it's like they couldn't, nothing, not even their best. And now, how big do you think that gap is? Not in the points table, but in terms of quality of these two teams, because we're forever going to compare them. Like, you'll forever compare Man United to a Man City and Everton to, a Liverpool. Now, the two teams there in the capital, especially considering it wasn't that long ago that Atletico de Madrid did win the title, I feel like the gap, yes, Atleti have gotten better, but the gap between them almost seems bigger.
Seems bigger, but for me, it's not that big. I mean, when you see Atletico Madrid squad, you can find people like Witsel, who is a very experienced and international player. You got Oblak, one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world. You got people like Savic, like Jimenez. Jimenez was Real Madrid.
Savic has yet to come back.
Yeah, they are always injured. But for example, Jimenez was Real Madrid target some years ago. I mean, they're not really bad players. And when you go to the midfield line, you can see good people. And in the up front, you got Morata, you got Griezmann, you got Joao Felix, you got Correa, Mateus Cunha. I mean, you got so many great players. The thing is that I don't know if Atletico Madrid and even Simeone are a little bit stuck or burnt out. I don't know. I don't know what happens in there, because sometimes it looks, for me, from the exterior, from the outside, it seems like the sporting direction goes in this way and Simeone goes in the other way around. So that's why sometimes it's like, okay, maybe Simeone needs a little bit of more physical player profile, and Andrea Berta, who is the sporting director, always signs something different. And I don't know what happens inside, but something happens, because Atletico Madrid deserve to be a little bit higher, and they deserve a little bit of more competitive squad, more players, stronger players, and not players like this. I mean, they are really irregular, and maybe they don't trust anymore in Simeone. He's been there 10 years in a row, which is a long time. I don't know, but something happens, because they deserve to be a little bit better.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because this is a debate I think that we always have as well, at least on ESPN FC. We had it recently, I would say within the last year, about Manchester United, of course, with all the troubles that we know go on there. And say when Pogba was still there, if you took out Paul Pogba, did Manchester United have any players that you would call world class? You know, when we say world class, we're talking about Benzema, we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, you're talking about Leo Messi, you know, you're talking about Lewandowski, like players that any team in the world would take them in a heartbeat and pay whatever they could. Do you feel like Atletico de Madrid at the moment just have great players, have top players, but not necessarily world-class players? Like, of course, Real Madrid, you know, they have Modric, who's always going to be world-class. You know, they have Benzema, the way he's going. Vini Jr., he's now into that, you know, that realm of whether he's the best winger in the world right now. Valverde, who's, oh my days, can do no wrong these days. You know, I think he's one of the most important players now at Real Madrid, if you take out, obviously, the obvious, which is Benzema and Vini Jr. But is Atletico Madrid needing that?
For me, they have top players.
But world class.
Yeah, I mean, Oblak, top 5 goalies in the world. Then you can find, for example, Yannick Carrasco was Premier League top teams target this season. Joao Felix, if you wonder, or if you ask Barcelona or Real Madrid to, you know, a potential move for Joao Felix, they would be wide open to get him. And then you got Griezmann. I know he's a little bit over experienced, but he's a top world-class player. I mean, they have players and they have a group, but I don't know what happens, that something doesn't work in there. And I don't know if it's the coach, the players, the club. I don't really know, but they're completely stuck and they need a little bit more to move on, because if not, they're going to be the third team always without no chances to be up there battling Real Madrid or Barcelona for any La Liga title.
Stick a pin there, just because you mentioned Joao Felix. What do you think's going on there? Because we know he's world class. At least I think he has the potential to be. He still is quite young. We do have to remember that he's not a spring chicken. He's not 15, 16, which is now the age people are making Premier League debuts. But it's still something. Every match we keep going, what's up with Joao Felix? What's up with Joao Felix? Will this be the match? Will this be the match? And I know this was easily the toughest match he had to play in all season because it's Real Madrid. But still, what do you think's not clicking, if anything?
Something happens. I mean, he arrived to Atletico Madrid very, very young. I think he was 19 when he got to Madrid, but something happens. At the beginning, he was like, I need more minutes. I need a little bit or more games. And Simeone gave him the chance to play more regularly. And now,
are they playing to his strengths though, do you think?
And I don't know, but I know that all the people, when they comment below, they're going to say, yeah, maybe Joao Felix is the kind of player that doesn't really fit with Simeone's style. Yeah. But I don't agree with that, because when you see Griezmann, when he got his best years, he was back at his first era at Atletico Madrid, and he was with Simeone. And then he moved to Barca, who was like a more DNA for Griezmann, and he didn't work. And then he get back to Atletico Madrid, and now he works again. With Joao Felix, I think it happens the same. I need him to be a little bit more defensive, more aggressive sometimes with the rival. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about to be more physical, aggressive probably. Yeah, whatever. And I don't know, because now he's been the only guy at Atletico Madrid that have started the whole games. Yeah. So something happens because he's having the minutes, and Simeone is giving him the chance to prove what he has on his feet, but he's not giving it back.
Yeah, we have to wait. Still in search of those goals, man. Still in search of those goals. As for Real Madrid, I mean, what else is there to say? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But what
they know how to dance.
They know how to dance very well too, for all you haters. And they know how to win. We say this time and time again, and I'll never get tired of saying it. This is a winning machine to the nth degree. You could go into a derby. Yes, Atletico Madrid have their issues, but they've been playing without Benzema. And like I said, last year we were speaking of a point where, does Vini Jr. need Benzema to actually have a good game? So is Benzema really that talisman that everyone needs to have a good game? But oh my absolute days, I was buzzing because I have a lot of love for Rodrigo, your namesake with a Y though, and Valverde. Oh my, Rodrigo. I just want to talk about like how brilliant he was, and Tchouaméni as well. Some of the balls Tchouaméni gave, I think he could give me a ball and I would score. Like,
looks like Tchouaméni have been playing for Real Madrid for 10 years. 10 years. And I remember we said here in this podcast last year that if Real Madrid was going to pay more than 80 million euros for Tchouaméni, it's just because of something.
Yeah.
And the scouting job that Real Madrid made proved them that he was completely ready for this challenge. And it's amazing. I mean, I was last night and I was completely amazed by the way he played. And, he was so strong, so tall, so quick, so fast. And the thing is that for me, I'm going to say something which is something maybe unfair for Casemiro, but he's going to be much better than Casemiro. Much, much better.
Which is awesome, because remember that we were talking about, he's not like for like replacement for Casemiro. But
did you see the assist in the first goal?
Well, that's what I was saying. And I think Rodrigo had it. And I think he passed it back. Was it his goal? And he passed it back to Tchouaméni and basically said, I'm going to run here, pass it to me. Tchouaméni just, and of course, boom, goal. And it was just unreal. And then, of course, Valverde coming off of just in the right place at the right time. True. It was poetry. It was poetry, if that's your kind of thing. It was poetry. I mean, the way Real Madrid are going, of course, everyone gets their knickers in a twist when we start asking the invincible question, because Barcelona, as we've been talking about, have been playing just as well, which is why it makes El Clásico good. But Real Madrid at the moment, I mean, whether they have Benzema or not, whether they have injuries or not, whether they have an aging midfield or not, whether they boss the game or not, as we saw in the Champions League final, they find a way to win. And they don't panic. They do not panic. Their game management and Carlo Ancelotti is just phenomenal. It's
and the best point for Real Madrid fans, if you're a Real Madrid fans, listen to this. You don't need more than 20 minutes. I mean, with that is more than enough. It looks like they have a car and they're going to say, okay, let's speed up a little bit. And that's more than enough, because the rest of the game, we can be calm down, patient, and then waiting for our chance. Because every time they got to the Atletico Madrid box, they scored.
It's just amazing, honestly. They are so entertaining to watch, just so entertaining to watch. And something tells me we'll be talking about them for a lot this season. But like I said, poetry. If you're not a Real Madrid fan, I apologize. But you know what? You almost can't hate when, like I said, against whatever odds or not, Madrid just find a way time and time again. So like we said, international break now. So everyone goes off. Hopefully no injuries, because we want everyone fit and ready for the World Cup too. And for El Clasico, which is before the World Cup. I nearly said El World Cup. I forget what language I speak. That's coming up on October 16th. We're going to be there for 10 days coverage on ESPN, buzzing for that. So let's get some preguntas difíciles, shall we?
Yes.
My jumper's choking me.
Are you ready?
Myself. I'm ready. Preguntas difíciles. Dun, dun, dun. And guys, if you can, please keep sending us your questions, no matter how hard they are, as long as they're intelligent. Then we will definitely try tackle them. Just use the hashtag LaLiga Centro. You can find us, of course, on Instagram or right here on YouTube or Twitter. And of course, we're going to talk about Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. is a top 3 player in the world right now. Make a case, yes or no? Best winger in the world, though. Yes or no?
Best winger, yes.
Right now.
But top player, top 3 player, top 3. For me, he's a top 10 player now, for me. Because I think he's in shape and, you know, he scores, he defends. I mean, he does everything well. But for me, he needs a little bit of improvement to be at, for example, De Bruyne, Haaland.
Well, I was just about to say your boys. For those that don't know, Rodri has an affinity for Manchester City as well.
Well, rumors.
So anyways, I was talking about Tchouaméni and his assist and his ability to supply some absolute stunning balls into the box. But Kevin De Bruyne, Jesus wept. He definitely is top 3.
Bernardo Silva,
and then your boy, as we were talking about, Erling Haaland as well. But Vinny definitely has entered the chat. And I remember talking to Vinny last year before the Derby de Madrid in December, was it? And I had asked him, you know, because people were talking about him probably getting on the same level as Mbappe and Haaland. And he actually said, I just want to be on the same level as Neymar. That's like my hero, obviously my fellow countryman. And you know what? I would say he's definitely on the right track.
He's up there
in the world. Well, Rodri's going to say yes. And you know what? I may stick my head out and say yes. I may stick my say. Definitely top 5 at the moment. Okay. I'm going to have to think who else is there. Thibaut Courtois. Okay. I know nobody likes to show goalies and defenders love, but I'm going to throw Thibaut Courtois in there.
Thank you very much. I was going to say that, but I'm since we're friends, you're gonna say no, he's your whatever. Come on.
Do you know what's weird though? They've not actually been keeping clean sheets, Real Madrid.
It's not his fault.
There you go. That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it has too much to do with him as a goalkeeper. So there you go. Anyways, next one. Which La Liga player will make the biggest impact in Qatar? Which La Liga player? I mean, have you seen Brazil's attacking power?
Yeah.
I mean, all over, of course, because you're talking, I mean, even here in the Premier League, you have people like Gabriel Jesus, who's firing on all cylinders as well in this new life at Arsenal. But then you talk about Rodrigo, you talk about Vinny Jr. as well, Neymar, who's doing absolute bits as well at PSG still. I got a lot of time for Mateus Cunha, as you know. I think he's a top player too.
Yeah.
But which La Liga one? Would it be hard?
I was going to say Mateus Cunha if he finally gets called up by Tite. Because I was talking to Gustavo, one partner from ESPN in Brazil, and he said to me that Tite is going to call up 9 or 8 strikers, which is something like only can happen in Brazil.
Only can happen in Brazil.
Yeah, and if he finally goes to Qatar, I would say Mateus Cunha is the kind of player that in a World Cup, in a short-term tournament, could be one of the main guys of the tournament. Why not?
I mean,
I like him.
9 strikers. Like, I would take at least one of them. Just
Yeah.
give me your last choice, and I'll take them for Jamaica any day. Anyways, we didn't
Mateus
qualify.
Cunha is going to be the last one, sure.
I know. I got a lot of time for Mateus Cunha. He's a good friend of ours at ESPN. So, okay, you'll go with Mateus Cunha. Do you know, I'm tempted to say like Vinny Jr., but why don't I just continue riding this fabulous wave of Thibaut Courtois? Like, why not? Show some goalies some love. And I think he is such a clutch player, but not just for his abilities as a goalkeeper, but he's so vocal as well with the team.
Yeah.
He's almost like another captain. I got a lot of time for Thibaut Courtois, and it'd be, you know, if everyone stays fit and healthy. But it would be interesting as well to see Benzema with his new life at France as well. I think, not to say that he has a point to prove, because
it was interesting.
We all know how good he is.
It was also interesting back in the Euro, and they failed against Switzerland. So maybe they have another chance.
I feel like it's not that he has a point to prove that he's a quality player. Everyone still wants him to win Ballon d'Or and whatnot. But I still think he has some business to finish in a France shirt. And I mean,
I agree.
The World Cup, this is the biggest stage, and this is possibly going to be his last World Cup. I mean, I don't know. He could probably carry on like a Luka Modric or something, and still be playing and still want to play in the next World Cup.
You know, Luka Modric is going to play forever.
Yeah, Luka Modric is going to play forever, of course. And I mean, if he's doing the bits that he's been doing, why not?
Sure.
It's hard. Oh gosh, it's hard to choose. To be honest, we've not even spoken about the likes of Pedri and whatnot.
The likes
of them. I mean, in terms of, we haven't mentioned them, and a lot of the youngsters probably could do absolute bits for Spain, because like I said, Pedri plays with such confidence. As if he belongs on that stage. So I don't even think the moment of a World Cup would actually scare him, if you know what I mean. And he's so used to playing against so many of these guys that he could be a really impactful player, I think.
Sure. I mean,
he has like 4 lungs.
The good thing of Pedri is that everyone compares him to Iniesta. But the thing is that he got there earlier than Iniesta. And he's more than ready to lead the Spain national team to whoever so that's why it could be someone to be aware of during Qatar. And he has character, which is the good thing.
Which I love. He's fearless. I just absolutely love that. Next question. How far will Spain go in the 2022 World Cup, which ties in nicely with our little Pedri chat?
I would say Spain will reach to the final. But I'm not going to say just in case La Mufa appears. La Mufa is when you say or you predict whoever result, and then you are gaffe. I don't know how do you say that in English, but...
Like a jinx.
Jinx, it could be. I don't know the word. But so that's why I'm going to say Spain is going to be out of the Qatar World Cup in the group stage.
All right, but keep your expectations though, just so you don't jinx it. Exactly. Fair dues. And as we know, Chelsea have new ownership right now, and there's been a big talk here of having in the Premier League, like how, you know, in the United States, in MLS, they have like an all-star game. There's been talks of having a North and South all-star game here in the Premier League. Would you like to see that idea in Spain? Like a LaLiga all-star game, like North and South, maybe?
Why not? I mean, this is all about business, show business, and a spectacle. Why not? It would be great. And, you know, when in Spain, now is something that doesn't really happen, but not a long time ago, every Christmas time, national teams, whatever you call, Asturias, Catalonia, based country, they played. The guys from that regions, they used to play against international teams. And that'd be something really great to unite, for example, the North Conference against the South Conference, or the Mediterranean against the North. North is going to win always, but well, it would be great to see that.
Where would you draw the line, I suppose? Because Madrid's kind of in the middle, so where would Madrid teams go? Would it
I
be
didn't
part of the
know.
north? Or because I mean the north would look good, of course, with the Basque Country and Real Sociedad and Athletic Club. Like we know the talent that comes out of there.
Yeah.
But how would they would you still count Barcelona as north?
For me, it's not north.
And Valencia?
No. They are east, north, south, east.
So where would you draw the half?
I didn't
Of
know.
course, you talk about Sevilla and everything. See, we're gonna map this out. We're gonna map this out, and Rodri's gonna give me his.
Or maybe you could
all-star.
draw. I mean, you got Madrid here in the center of the country.
Yeah.
And maybe you could see like east against west, something like in
Okay.
diagonal,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know.
So if you, I think it'd be easier to do east and west than north and south, because then I don't know where you'd put Madrid.
Because now with the North Conference, it would be only players from Real Sociedad, Athletic Bilbao, and nothing
Vigo?
much more around.
Vigo, but Vigo's
a
more
little
north.
bit, but
East,
nobody.
right?
Yeah, it's north. Vigo is north, definitely.
Yeah, Vigo's north east.
But it's not the same then. I mean, they should be at the same level than Barcelona, but Barcelona is like, it's not considered north. It's like Mediterranean.
North, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, we're getting like specific. This is what happened, all this talk.
We're giving out some ideas to La Liga, so
we'll throw some ideas to La Liga. We'll draw a map. We're gonna pull up the map of the country. Anyways, that's a wrap for this edition of LaLiga Centro. Thank you guys as always for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. It's international break now, so enjoy some international football. Hopefully your countries or nations do well. My country's not going to the World Cup, but it's okay because Rodri said that Spain will adopt me. So I guess I'll just have to ride that bandwagon. But to be honest, the country that made me fall in love with football is Brazil. If you go to Jamaica, Jamaicans love Brazil. We love that bonita. We love that. I mean, I grew up with that team of Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. I mean, come on. That's what made me love football. And
you love dancing. That's why you support Brazil.
I love dancing, and I'm going to continue dancing. I'm going to continue dancing Vinny Jr. next time I see you two. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you the next episode coming out October 5th, which means we'll be on in October, which means we'll be about 11 days away from El Clásico.
Yes, it's gonna be massive.
It's gonna be massive. We're buzzing for that one because it's gonna be a true test. Anyways, I can finally go eat something. My dog needs to be walked. Zlatan, my dog Zlatan, not human Zlatan.
Thank you very much.
Rodri has real stuff to do. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.